Hello guys, what's going on? My name's Rob and I'm going to be covering one of the most popular questions I get as a content creator for both Twitch and YouTube, and that's why do people watch other people play video games? And this kind of translates to me because whenever I'm meeting someone for the first time and we're discussing, hey, what do you do? What's your job like? It always goes through kind of the same motion, and that's, all right, let me understand this. You play video games. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, all right. And other people watch you play those video games. Yep, you're getting there. And then they're like, and those other people watching you play the video games, they give you money for playing those video games. I'm like, well, that's kind of exactly how it works. And they just don't seem to understand why this is a thing. I believe this all comes down to how an individual looks at live stream content or YouTube content. But when talking to people about it, I kind of break it into three key elements that brings people in and why they would want to watch someone else play a video game, what keeps them there, what drives the interaction, and then overall in the end, what makes them want to support that individual and, keep coming back and consuming that content. So starting with number one, as this is probably the most obvious element, it's also probably the biggest piece of the puzzle, and that's watching someone else play video games is entertainment in itself. The same reason that watching a game of football, basketball, baseball is a form of entertainment for those who enjoy sports, those who enjoy playing video games, a form of entertainment for us is watching someone else play it. Whether it's a new game that just came out, an old game that they can feel nostalgic about back in the day when they played as a kid or a teenager, or even just the personality of the person playing that game drives the entertainment of the person that watches them. The same reason someone would watch someone as a comedian tell jokes. And they could tell jokes, but it's the way the comedian presents those jokes, delivers them. There's a certain skill and aspect to that that drives that form of laughter and entertainment that would keep someone coming back and continuously watching them. So to just drive a quick example, we'll throw a crowd cheering at the end of a nice victory of a sports match. And now to follow this up, I'll post a most recent clip of a world championship in a video game. So from here, you can obviously see consumers enjoying different types of entertainment. Watching video games isn't normally one you'd put at the top of the list, but it definitely is going to fall into the category of being entertaining, or you wouldn't see groups of people all celebrating like that while watching a recent world championship. So moving to element number two, this is going to be when somebody watches another person with the hopes or the desire to get better at that game through watching a better player than themselves. So whether they're trying to expand their knowledge on the game, they're trying to learn a new skill, or they're just trying to understand the game because they're a beginner and they want to be better than a beginner, they want to move up to maybe intermediate or expert, they watch experts in order to play, think, and get knowledge that experts have in that game. And content creators like myself, we provide this for free just by showing off our skills, playing and streaming while explaining why we do what we do and then the thought process behind that. I know this doesn't fall under all gamers, but a lot of people who play video games tend to want to get better while playing them. So if they don't see themselves improving at the rate that they want, typing in a couple guides on YouTube or pulling up a live stream of someone currently playing the game you are, you can gain a lot of insight into maybe some things that you hadn't seen before, or just that specific thing that you're trying to learn. So moving to our third and final element, this is actually a pretty interesting one. This satisfies a person's feeling of belongingness within a community or a group of friends. And how this relates is, for example, you're watching a live stream, you're watching a YouTube video, and there's probably hundreds, if not thousands of views on that video. If you're watching a streamer, there's either, hundreds or thousands of people also watching that streamer. And within that, you have everybody talking, whether it be in the comment section or the chat section off to the side, and everybody's talking about, the game, sharing experiences, telling funny stories. And it's actually really cool because all of these people, they feel as if, they're a little bit closer than just random strangers, because they obviously first enjoy video games, but more specifically, they're probably kind of similar because they're watching the same content as each other. as an individual producing content, you know, there's a certain kind of personality that, you know, is attracted to watching my sort of content. As you know, different people have different personalities, they attract different friends. So when somebody or a group of people is watching an individual or watching a particular video, you know, their traits are probably going to be pretty similar, and they're going to like kind of the similar games as each other. Which is going to allow them to talk, become friends more easily, and you know, and they're going to actually be able to build relationships within the channel with people they would have never been able to ever meet, because everybody is, you know, very far apart for the most part across the world. You can play with someone for Europe in a matter of seconds, and it allows for some really cool interactions. So to give an example of this, you know, that's not video games. If you know, you and your family, or you and a group of friends go and you watch an Avengers movie, or if you go to a concert, everybody there has that common sort of thing that they like, and that's either Avengers, the band, the music, whatnot, and everybody there can kind of like, you can look over and like nod at the person next to you, and they're all like, hell yeah, let's watch this Avengers movie, or you know, I love this song, or I love this band. So that's kind of where the feeling of belongingness and connectedness and comes from. And then for me personally, I actually have a recent story. I was streaming on the channel, and we had a viewer that comes in all the time, and he was telling me, you know, I had a rough week. It's been really tough. Things aren't really going well. And, you know, he had a couple friends in the channel at the time that they normally chat. They're like, you know, I'm sorry, you know, hope you feel better. And then I'm just like, oh, you know what? You know what? Let's invite this guy in. Let's get a group of friends that I know he normally talks to on the channel. You know, let's get a bunch of us in here, and let's play his favorite game. So we got, you know, a nice party of us all together. We invited him in there. Everybody's talking, having a good time, laughing. You know, he's having a good time. He's talking to people for the first time over, you know, he normally talks through the keyboard. He doesn't normally talk through voice chat. You know, he jumps into voice chat. Everybody's talking, having a good time. And, you know, he's playing the game. We play for a couple hours, and after we're finished, you could definitely tell that, you know, he's in a much better mood. He had at least a couple hours of not thinking about, you know, whatever it was at work or family. You know, he was able to focus in on the game, play well, had a good time, and we won multiple matches. So that's just kind of a short example of how, you know, being in a community can, you know, obviously help you make new friends, new connections, and that feeling of belongingness that everybody does have is satisfied through that. And this is why I think the third element is very important. I know it's very drastically different from the first two, which are much easier to probably think about, but this one, it comes a little bit more like, if you're not playing video games and you don't use YouTube or Twitch, you wouldn't even think about things like this when, like, why would someone watch someone else? It's like, oh yeah, that's probably a pretty good way to meet people of, you know, that like the same video games. Wow. So hopefully through running through these you know, these elements of what brings someone in to watch someone else play video games, you're able to either think about things in a slightly different way or learn something you maybe didn't know. I know when, you know, expressing these things to people when they ask about what I do and like why that's a thing, you know, after the conversation, they're like, okay, well, you know what, I can understand now why someone would want to, you know, watch and support someone playing video games. It's just like watching Netflix or Hulu, but instead of watching like TV shows for entertainment or learning, you know, you're watching someone else that, you know, could probably be your friend in real life. And I'm like, exactly. So with that, thanks for watching. Hopefully you've enjoyed, and if you have any experiences of any of this or would like to leave some feedback, the comment section below I'm sure will be filled with some insightful information, probably some good comments for those of you who are looking for a little bit of information from people who are also watching this video. So with that, thanks for watching. I'm Rob, and happy whatever the hell day it is.